in France now, kids can't go to school if they haven't had all the vaccines. That is so terrifying. Like, what if you don't want your kid to have the vaccines? They can't go to school in France. So it's essentially forcing people, if they want their kids to go to school, they have to get the vaccines. And obviously, it's a controversial issue. It's a very controversial issue. Don't know if we'll get into it right now, but that's a bit of a violation of human rights, is it not? So if you haven't had these vaccines, which we're not telling you the full ins and outs, because that's the thing, that side shut down the debate on vaccines. I'm not even stating my opinion on it. Like, it's not necessary. Yeah. But from the pharmaceutical industry side, and because when they control the media, for example, with Andrew Wakefield, when that all happened. If you want to research Andrew Wakefield, if you're interested, is it cool to plug that?
Plug whatever, man.
If you want to research like any of this, like Andrew Wakefield is a place to start. Just Google him, and you can probably find a load of bad, which are untrue media articles about him, scapegoating him. You can also find him speaking on YouTube and explaining the whole situation that happened. But like, it was over the MMR vaccine, and he wasn't a left wing guy. He wasn't anti-vaccine. He just said maybe we should look at this because this might not be a great idea. Like, I've had people come to me saying there's problems after it. Let's have a look. Like, let's investigate it. And obviously, when the investigation found that there could be a link, and he didn't say, "Yo, there's a link between the vaccine and autism." He didn't say that. He just said we should look into it. But they scapegoated him and said that he was a nutter trying to make his own vaccine, make a load of money. Load of rubbish. Totally scapegoated him. They obviously, other doctors were all threatened. You can't speak about this issue. They shut down the debate. They weren't willing to say, right, let's test these things and check if there is any danger in them. Come on, like, is that not so patently corrupt? Like, it drives me insane when you say it. It's quite simple, and like, I'm not even going into any of the science of it because I'm not educated on that side of it. But like, when you look at that, the fact that they won't discuss the issue publicly, they shut it down and scapegoat the person who's speaking about it because they're terrified of the scientific results if it is properly investigated.
Do you know what the thing is, right?
And that's the people who's running our whole system. Like,
the thing with this whole medical cannabis thing, I was talking about with my friend the other day. I think it's slightly corrupt. I feel
because it makes so much money in America.
I don't know if you know. I've said it before on this podcast, but I'll say it again. I'll tell you that I don't know if you know that the UK is the world's
second
largest medical cannabis supplier. They supply.
I thought it was the second. I didn't know it was the largest.
They are the largest. The UK is the largest. They supply the world with 45%, or something.
No way. So where are them warehouses, man? Where are them warehouses that all that Cali shit's growing like?
But listen.
So all the shit that's getting imported to here is getting grown here for nothing, taken to Cali for like relatively nothing, sold in Cali for quite a lot, and then imported back here and sold here for a fucking fortune. It's a joke. Where are them warehouses?
and listen to this.
They're mugging it.
And this is how
And they're nicking people over here for shotting the shit they grew.
But this is it. The guy who owns GW Pharmaceuticals, which is the company that grows all this medical cannabis
in the UK, in the UK, man. Right. So is it a British company?
It's a British company. Yeah.
Right. GW
Pharmaceuticals.
Right.
Yeah. So the governing minister of drug policy, her husband is. He runs British Sugar
GW Pharma, right?
Yeah, basically her husband runs GW Pharmaceuticals.
It's a joke. They kicked off, what's his name? They kicked off the gig. Guy said ecstasy was as dangerous as riding a horse because it was a fact and he got fired for it.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Oh, I can't remember.
It's not. I definitely know it. I read his book. It was fascinating. Everyone knows who we're talking about. It's fine.
I know who you're talking about.
The guy said ecstasy is less dangerous than riding a horse. Oh, what's his name? I've got his book upstairs. It's called, I think, the Drugs Without the Hot Air. That's the name of his book. So Google that. In fact, Google that. We can find out his name. Drugs Without the Hot Air. I want it to come to me before, but David Nutt, Professor David Nutt. That's it.
Yeah, David Nutt.
Professor David Nutt. Yeah, He's written a really fascinating book, which is a lot of truth about drugs from his research, and he's been like a main researcher over the years. But then he was kicked off the council for saying the fact that like, look at the way alcohol is promoted, and like there's a big problem with the way that alcohol is promoted in universities, and like the government fund students to drink with funded student bars and stuff, and like a lot of businesses fund their employees, all this stuff, and alcohol is a serious drug. Like most people are don't consider it that because it's legal.
Yeah.
But when people talk about drugs, like, they don't include alcohol. It's ridiculous because it's a drug. Like, it's up there with MD and cocaine and heroin. It's like
acceptable.
I know, it's a flipping weird one, isn't it? But like, it's a serious drug. Like, it's a serious man-made drug. It's been around for a while, but it is a serious man-made drug, especially the way it's made now. Do you know what I mean? When it was around back in the day, maybe beer, even fermented whiskies, whatever, it was all homemade.
Yeah.
Like,
but now it's mass produced.
Alcohol is poison, and the way it's advertised and sold is a joke.
And the way how...
And he was saying that and saying, like, look... And he was also talking about medicinal uses for mushrooms and for MDMA and for ketamine, which are, like, endless possibilities. And that's why he was kicked off, basically.
He was too far, as they call it, hippie.
Yeah. But, like, so they were talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast, they were talking about how, in America, I think it might be similar situation over here, they're just, in the last few years, restarting all the research into hallucinogenics and the medical properties. Because there's so much unknown... Well, they know a lot already that there's amazing qualities with hallucinogenics for curing depression, helping people cure addiction, dealing with PTSD, coming to terms with having a terminal illness. There's all these amazing things that they can do, never mind enhancing perception and connecting with spirituality, etc., etc. And, like, but the research was stopped for about 40 years. Like, so they're starting again from where they were at the 60s, but if that hadn't been stopped, like, they'd be so far advanced in it now, and it's only now they're restarting these studies. But there's a few people like Terence McKenna and Dennis McKenna, who are kind of saying, come on, like, we've been studying this shit for... The hippies were telling you this shit 40 years ago, like, you guys should have... Like, we told you this shit. Like...
But they did the war on drugs, and they locked everything down, and all research had to stop.
That pea was damn. Banging blackberry, you know, and you get a banging one that's got that perfect taste.
Yeah,
it's always been my favourite fruit.
What else?
They're trying to trick us about what to eat.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, do you know how? What is that? Appendix? Is it?
Your appendix, where you get appendicitis.
Yeah.
If you're unlucky.
But apparently, the appendix, it used to be connected to the whole body. Is that the one that used to? It's not.
I don't know.
Let's look this up with Google.
Maybe.
But
it
is the appendix.
The messages that they're giving the media for health are just way off the mark still. Yeah. Behind the times. And so much of it is money based, like margarine and butter. Like, people still think margarine's healthier than butter. It's not. If you're eating organic butter, like. But obviously they make organic ridiculously expensive, and it's impossible to buy unless you're nicely well off. So
yeah,
they make it impossible to get decent quality food, and like really cheap food. You can feed yourself for a week for £10 on shit food, but you can't eat health. You can't eat 5 a day. Never mind organic. Forget organic for now. And obviously, who wants to eat 5 a day that's sprayed with pesticides? But forget organic for now. You can't eat 5 a day for less than 50 quid a week if you want to eat some meat and some other stuff with it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to eat organic food and you want to eat meat and veg, you're talking £100 a week maybe. Like, I don't know. I'm sadly that's not the level I'm on, but I'm guessing.
Yeah,
but it's a ridiculous amount of money.
I know it's more.
They make it impossible to get that food. You can get dirt cheap. You can live on bread and oven food, and even McDonald's. You can even go out and buy it in a shop. Get your 500 calories from a cheeseburger for £1. But you can't get a couple pieces of fruit for £1 no more. Like this. Although
it is ridiculous.
Right, what's on the agenda? We got something positive next.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
I'm easy. I'm kidding. It's all positive, man. Like, it's all positive. It's all positive.
So
I'm having fun anyway.
The blood moon is tonight, or
what time is it? Gosh, it's dark. Bro, we've missed it.
Oh, we missed it.
It's 10:13. Bruv, we flopped.
Oh, stress. Well,
we flopped. I'm just looking at it once. We flopped. I'll have to go outside to see it. We flopped it. It's not even live, this podcast, so like this kind of means nothing to anyone. But like I'm right here now. Like, damn, like I thought I looked at my phone. It was like 7 something.
It was
thinking, calm. We'll just keep an eye on that, and we won't miss that. We'll be done with the podcast by then. We probably missed it before we started recording the podcast.
Yeah.
We're an hour and 9 minutes in. Yeah, we missed the blood moon before we started recording the podcast. Great company though. It's been banging. It's been good getting to know you and chatting and discussing.
But
we missed the blood moon though.
We did miss the blood moon, but it was tonight. So
that's what happens when you smoke legal CBD weed, man.
Yeah, I know, man. You just lose yourself.
Just lose it. Damn.
So I was going to talk about the myths. There's a few myths that come from around the world of the meanings of the blood moons.
Yes.
So,
enlighten me.
So this is lunar malevolence. For many ancient civilizations, the blood moon came with evil intent. The ancient Inca people interrupted the deep red colouring as interpreted the deep red colouring as a jaguar attacking and eating the moon. They believed that the jaguar might then turn its attention to Earth, so the people should shout, shake their spears, and make their dogs bark and howl at the moon, hoping that they would make enough noise to drive the jaguars away.
The Inca era was, when are we talking, a couple thousand years ago? Couple thousand years ago? Are we talking BC?
Yeah, definitely.
BC, okay. Yeah. I feel like it was Mesopotamia.
That is the next word, in ancient. That's what it says.
It was the Inca society in Mesopotamia.
Yeah, in ancient Mesopotamia.
I'm just trying to remember this because it's all referenced in a book I read called *Sapiens*, which is like the most fascinating book, and I'd highly recommend it to you.
Okay.
And anyone, I'll give you the name. You need to check it out.
Yeah, definitely, I will do.
It's either by Yuvan or go on.
It says some Hindu folktales interpret the lunar eclipse as the result of the demon Ra, or Rahu, drinking the eclipse of immortality. Twins of the sun and moon promptly dissipate Ra, but having consumed the elixir, Rahu head remains immortal. Seeking revenge, Rahu's head chases the sun and the moon to devour them. If he catches them, we have an eclipse. Rahu swallows the moon, which reappears out of his severed neck. For many people in India, a lunar eclipse bears ill fortune. Food and water are covered and cleansing rituals are performed. Pregnant women especially should not eat or carry out housework in order to protect the unborn child.
Wow. Okay, so
there are some more like...
We're alright, we missed it.
Yeah. But there are some more friendlier versions of the...
Alright.
So, the Native American Hippo and Louisiano tribes from California believe that the moon was wounded or ill after the eclipse. The moon would then need healing either by the moon's wives or by the tribesmen. The Luceno, for example, would sing and chant healing songs towards the darkness that the moon would make from the eclipse.
I think we've got... there's so much to be learnt from looking into the traditions of ancient civilizations, from what we know.
There's one that says, bit my tongue there. In Islamic culture, eclipses tend to be interpreted without superstition. In Islam, the sun and the moon represent deep respect for Allah. So during an eclipse, special prayer and chanting, including a Salt al-Kawthar.
Nice. Is that still practiced in Islam? Like, that's a modern Islam tradition as well. That's nice.
So, yeah.
Well, I feel, I mean, for me, I'm not religious, but if I was gonna like associate with religion, for me, it would be something to do with worshipping the natural world we have around us, because that's like the most powerful things we see are the elements and the earth and the mountains and the sun and the moon. So yeah, to me, paganism makes sense. Yeah. Like, I don't know, I haven't studied it in depth, but like, it makes more sense than worshipping something we can't see, like a higher being that we can't see, and have a load of random myths about. It makes more sense to me to worship, like nature.
There must be some sort of higher being that maybe created everything, because...
Do you think? But then who created that? Do you know what I mean? Like, where would you go from there? And then who created whatever created that?
It's true. But then there must be that, like, because every business, everything is formed from some sort of pyramid. So
Yeah.